In the midst of my young friend's massage, a tale of betrayal unveiled. As the clock ticks ominously, the atmosphere thickens with tension. Every second stretches into an eternity, leaving an unsettling silence in its wake. What lies ahead is shrouded in uncertainty, a mystery waiting to unfold. The stakes are high, and the air crackles with anticipation. Will the truth emerge from the shadows, or will it remain forever? That fateful morning, as I meticulously nurtured the delicate orchids in my greenhouse, an ominous shadow loomed over my tranquil existence, hinting at the unforeseen journey that lay ahead, ready to unravel the very fabric of my reality. As I plunged my hands into the dark, rich earth, a shiver coursed through me, a visceral connection to the hidden roots of the bulbs I had just buried. Each movement was deliberate, charged with an urgency, that murmur of life waiting to awaken beneath the surface. A fragile promise held in the depths of the soil. Everything seemed tranquil and mundane, a mirror of countless days gone by, until an unexpected jolt of pain sliced through my back, shattering the illusion of normalcy. Little did I know, a storm was brewing around me, and the presence of my second young friend Ethan, appearing out of nowhere, would change everything in that fateful moment. My greenhouse stands as a haunting sanctuary, a fragile haven where shadows linger. Ever since the heart-wrenching departure of my beloved husband, Thomas, it had morphed into the sole refuge that genuinely nourished my soul. But on that fateful day, an unsettling heaviness hung in the atmosphere, foreboding and ominous. At 50, murmur of astonishment followed me like shadows, as people would exclaim, "Amelia, how do you manage to look so young?" In reality, it was nothing short of mundane. Yet beneath the surface, an unsettling tension lingered, waiting to unravel. In the shadows of uncertainty, I dedicated myself to the sacred art of nurturing my own well-being. Each day became a battle, a relentless pursuit of a nourishing lifestyle, where every choice echoed with purpose. I moved with intention, my body a vessel of strength, while a fierce commitment burned within me, a vow to keep the vibrant spirit of the young woman alive, defying the passage of time and the weight of the world. Yet, I cannot escape the haunting truth that loneliness has entwined itself into the very essence of my soul. 122-207. Though my beauty still captivated those around me, a haunting emptiness clawed at my insides. A relentless battle I fought in silence. As I cautiously adjusted one of the bulbs, a sudden, sharp pain shot through my back, leaving me silent and on edge. The moment struck with an intensity that sent shockwaves through my very being, causing me to relinquish everything I held, as if the weight of the world had suddenly become too much to bear. In that fleeting moment, I shut my eyes, desperately grasping for solace in the rhythm of my breath, longing to quell the relentless ache that clung to my very core. But it persisted, unyielding and merciless. A weight bore down upon my shoulder, sending shockwaves through my spine, freezing me in a haunting moment of silence. In an instant, the air thickened with the haunting resonance of Ethan's voice, a fragile thread of connection woven through the oppressive silence that surrounded me. As the clock ticks ominously, the tension in the air thickens. Every second feels like an eternity, a heartbeat echoing in the silence. What lies ahead is shrouded in uncertainty, a gripping moment that could change everything. The stakes are high, and the outcome hangs precariously in the balance. Will the truth be unveiled? Or will? Amelia, what tumultuous emotions are swirling within you? I can only wonder how you are faring in these uncertain times. At just 25, my young friend Ethan commands attention with his imposing broad shoulders and chiseled physique. His striking features seemingly plucked from the pages of a high-fashion magazine, leaving an air of intrigue in his wake. His brown hair shimmered like a beacon in the sunlight, while his piercing gaze bore into mine, revealing an unsettling depth of worry that sent shivers down my spine. 230-328. His presence was a magnetic force, ensnaring the attention of all who crossed his path. Yet he remained blissfully oblivious to the spell he cast. In that fleeting moment, it seemed as if the very essence of life itself was pouring forth, wholly dedicated to my survival, wrapping me in an intoxicating comfort of hope and uncertainty. With a subtle yet deliberate gesture, I pointed to the precise location on my back where the discomfort clung like a shadow, refusing to release its grip. A heavy weight clings to me. An unseen force that shackles my every move, leaving me paralyzed at the precipice of action, longing to break free yet ensnared in a web of uncertainty. Are you ready to embark on this perilous journey? Within the shadows of this tale lies a profound significance, waiting to be unveiled. In this journey, boundaries dissolve into the shadows, emotions entwine in a dance of desperation, and unvoiced truths hover in the air, echoing like haunting pleas for comprehension. Every heartbeat carries the weight of untold secrets, stirring the depths of your soul and challenging the very limits of your comprehension. Should this strike a chord within you, I would be profoundly thankful if you could join me on this journey by subscribing to my channel and activating notifications. A gesture that would echo your unwavering support. Ethan inched closer, the air thick with tension, as if the world around us had faded into a haunting silence. 3:28 to 5:35. With a voice that trembled with unspoken urgency, he leaned closer, his eyes locking onto hers. Let me support you, he urged, the weight of his words hanging in the air like a fragile promise. Teetering on the edge of fate, as his large hands settled upon my shoulders, an electrifying shiver of unexpected warmth surged through me, igniting a tension that hung thick in the air. Allow me to extend an invitation that may change everything. A massage awaits you. A moment of surrender to the unknown. It often brings a sense of solace, he murmured, his voice barely breaking the heavy silence that hung in the air. A chilling silence enveloped me, as I stood on the precipice of revelation, paralyzed by an overwhelming fear that gripped my very soul, leaving me voiceless in the face of truth. I stood at the crossroads, my heart heavy with anguish, desperate for a glimmer of hope that could lead me away from the shadows of my torment. What truly took me by surprise was the overwhelming force of his touch, sending tremors through my heart that I never saw coming. Ethan, with a keen eye for my unease, approached me with a warm compress, a simple gesture that felt laden with unspoken concern. The air thickened with tension as he offered it, a small yet significant act that hinted at deeper emotions swirling beneath the surface. His care pierced through the shadows of my solitude, a haunting reminder of how long it had been since anyone had dared to tend to my heart with such tender gentleness. It is with a heavy heart that I reveal this truth. Years have slipped away, and I find myself longing for a connection so profound, so intimate, that it feels like a distant memory, almost lost to time. His fingers, powerful yet tender, danced across my taut muscles, igniting a tension that crackled in the air, leaving me silent and on edge. The relentless ache began to fade, surrendering to an unexpected warmth that wrapped around me like a shroud. Murmur promises of solace to my weary soul. In the depths of silence, a long-buried part of me, once lost to the shadows of time, began to awaken with a haunting intensity. A soft sigh escaped my face, a murmur of uncertainty hanging in the air, as if the very world around me held its breath, waiting for what would come next. Could it be that this depth is a bit overwhelming? Don't you think, Ethan? I attempted to utter a sound, yet the words clung to my throat, ensnared in a moment that loomed like a shadow, stretching into an eternity. A shadow loomed over my efforts, an insurmountable force that rendered me powerless to finish what I had begun. He fell into an unsettling silence, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily in the air. He persisted, his touch lingering like a murmur in the dark, a promise of something more, something hidden just beneath the surface. His hands swept across my back, igniting a thrilling awareness with every delicate light touch, as if the air itself crackled with unspoken tension. In that fleeting moment, an undeniable shift enveloped me, igniting a tempest of emotions that clawed at my very core, both unsettling and hauntingly beautiful. Leaving me teetering on the edge of revelation, Ethan's hands glided over my back, a steady force that both soothed and electrified, each deliberate touch a tether to reality in a world that felt increasingly uncertain. In that charged instant, as if the very air crackled with tension, he halted, leaning in with an intensity that pierced through the silence, locking his gaze onto mine. "Amelia, this is deeply troubling," he said, his voice laced with an urgency that sent shivers down her spine. "We stand at the precipice of uncertainty, knowing deep down that this is not the arena where our answers lie." 5:36 to 6:48. Come closer. drawn by the flickering flames that dance in the shadows, beckoning us to share our secrets and fears in the hushed comfort of the night. The warmth will envelop you like a comforting comfort. And as I bring the cream, a sense of anticipation fills the air, ready to soothe your back with a gentle yet tantalizing touch. We must unite our efforts to tend to this precarious situation, for the stakes have never been higher. In that fleeting instant, I hesitated, but the crushing burden of my anguish inexorably steered my decision. I paused, my heart racing, as I struggled to regain my composure. With a tender yet firm hand, he extended his support, urging me to rise from the depths of uncertainty. Take your time, he urged, his voice a soft murmur that sent shivers down my spine, his hand enveloping mine with a warmth that felt both comforting and foreboding. In that moment, as his arms enveloped me, an unexpected warmth surged through my veins, igniting a flicker of emotional connection that had long been extinguished in the shadows of my existence. The air crackled with unspoken tension, a haunting reminder of the void that had lingered for far too long. As we ventured into the grasp of the flickering flames, Ethan cast a soft, golden glow that danced ominously in the shadows, hinting at secrets yet to be unveiled. The warmth enveloped me like a shroud, a deceptive comfort that momentarily quelled the storm brewing inside, granting a fleeting glimpse of peace amidst the chaos. Ethan unfurled the blanket on the floor, a silent invitation that hung in the air, charged with an unspoken promise of solace. His gesture, tender yet laden with unvoiced tension, beckoned me to surrender to the moment, a choice that felt both comforting and perilous. Less than text, you must discover a more comfortable position to stretch your back, he urged, his intense gaze flickering with a trace of doubt, as if the weight of his words hung in the air, thick with tension. A soothing cream lies in wait, poised to unravel the tension gripping Pochinta's weary muscles, promising a moment of blissful release amidst the chaos. As the clock ticks ominously, the seconds stretch into an eternity. The air thickens with tension, each moment fraught with uncertainty. What lies ahead? The answer hangs just out of reach, shrouded in shadows, waiting to be unveiled. Time is slipping away, and the stakes have never been higher. I sank into the comfort of the flickering flames, their heat wrapping around me like a shroud, while Ethan, with a focused intensity, coaxed the cream to life between his palms. The soft light touch of his hand upon my shoulders ignited a tremor deep within. A sigh escaping my face, one I had been unknowingly clutching in the shadows of my heart. With a voice barely above a murmur, he urged, take a deep breath. The weight of the moment hung heavy in the air, thick with unspoken tension. As the clock ticks ominously, the tension mounts, each second stretching into an eternity. The shadows deepen, and the air thickens with anticipation. What lies ahead is shrouded in uncertainty, a gripping mystery waiting to unfold. The stakes are high, and the outcome hangs precariously in the balance. Will the truth emerge from the darkness? Or, a glimmer of hope is on the horizon. And soon, the weight of despair will begin to lift, revealing a brighter path ahead. Yet each gentle touch of his hand felt like a murmur of fate, transcending mere physical relief and delving into the very depths of my soul. Stirring emotions I never knew existed. He was slowly peeling back the layers of my soul, revealing a darkness I thought I had buried forever. As his fingers glided softly along my back, a tempest brewed within me, a battle between clarity and confusion that left my heart racing and my breath caught in my throat. Ethan's touch ignited a fire within me, stirring emotions long buried, awakening a tempest of feelings that threatened to consume my very soul. In that fleeting instant, a shadow of doubt crept into my mind, but the crushing burden of anguish loomed larger, suffocating every thought. In that moment, I plunged into the depths of the situation, surrendering to its grip without a trace of doubt. Ethan's fingers curled around my arm, a gentle yet electrifying grip that pulled me to my feet, igniting a spark of uncertainty in the air. Take your time, he urged, his voice a low murmur that sent shivers down my spine. His hands, warm and enveloping, wrapped around me like a shield, offering a sense of safety that was both comforting and unsettling. What lay beneath that gentle facade? I could feel the tension in the air, thick with unspoken words and hidden truths. An unsettling calm wrapped around me, concealing the lurking shadows of uncertainty. The care of this young man enveloped me in a shroud of emotional connection. A feeling so profound and rare that it sent shivers down my spine. Awakening long-buried emotions I had thought lost forever. As we crossed the threshold into the house, the flickering flames of the fireplace danced ominously, casting an eerie, warm orange glow that wrapped around us like a shroud, hinting at secrets lurking in the shadows. The fire crackled ominously, its flickering flames casting eerie shadows that danced across the walls, wrapping the room in a deceptive warmth that masked an undercurrent of tension. A sense of calm washed over me, but beneath it lay an unsettling anticipation, as if the very air was charged with unspoken secrets waiting to be unveiled. Ethan unfurled the blanket on the floor, a silent invitation that hung in the air, charged with unspoken tension and warmth, beckoning me to surrender to the moment. Less than text, you must discover a method to alleviate your back pain. A path that brings you solace, he urged, his eyes holding a weighty seriousness, yet softening with an undercurrent of tender warmth that hinted at unspoken concern. In the shadows of the room, I revealed a small vial of cream, its promise lingering in the air. With each passing moment, it beckoned, murmur of relief, ready to light touch the weary muscles and ease the tension that gripped them so tightly. As I settled down, a shiver of anticipation coursed through me, the warmth wrapping around me like a cloak. Ethan's hands moved with deliberate grace, squeezing the cream, his fingers working it together, igniting a soothing heat that seemed to pulse with an unspoken promise. The soft light touch of his hands on my shoulder sent shivers down my spine. A moment charged with an electrifying tension that left me utterly silent. 9:09 to 10:48. He leaned closer, his voice a murmur laced with urgency. Take a deep breath. Soon, everything will change. Yet with every gentle touch, an unsettling transformation stirred deep within me, as if the very fabric of my being was unraveling. His hands reached out, not merely providing physical solace, but igniting a tempest of emotions within me, feelings that had been buried deep, waiting for this very moment to resurface. As his fingers glided behind me, an unsettling calm enveloped my mind, yet thoughts twisted and turned, weaving a tapestry of unforeseen tension. Ethan's touch lingered like a murmur in the dark, a gentle light touch that ignited an electric tension between them. It was a connection that pulsed with unspoken words, echoing deep within their souls, intertwining their fates in a dance of vulnerability and longing. Less than text, I can feel the tautness in your muscles, he said, his voice a soothing balm that wrapped around me like a shroud, pulling me closer into the depths of uncertainty. Amelia, a shadow looms over you, as you bear the weight of the greenhouse and the relentless tasks that haunt your home. In the shadows of life's relentless demands, a truth lingers, one that murmurs urgently in the silence. You must not forget to nurture your own spirit. The weight of the world can be crushing, but amidst the chaos, your well-being is a flickering flame that must be tended to, lest it be extinguished forever. I plunged into the depths of my soul, desperately seeking the elusive clarity that seemed to slip through my fingers like sand. The shadows murmur secrets, and the echoes of doubt loomed large, each moment stretching into an eternity as I grappled with the tempest within. The greenhouse stands as my refuge, Ethan. Without it, I grasp the weight of despair, he murmured softly, his fingers brushing against mine with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. Yet, a shadow of unease loomed over me, gnawing at the edges of my thoughts. As I wrestled with his words, a storm of uncertainty brewed within me. Did I truly grasp the profound depths they concealed? Or was I merely skirting the edges of a truth too daunting to confront? The tension hung in the air, thick and palpable, as I stood on the precipice of revelation, teetering between understanding and denial. In that fleeting moment, his hands descended with a tantalizing grace along my back, weaving a spell of soothing tension that sent shivers racing through my spine. The gentle warmth of his touch seemed to dissolve the tension within me. But lurking just beneath the surface was a tangled web of emotions, each thread pulling me deeper into a labyrinth of uncertainty. The emotional connection we shared enveloped me in a cocoon of warmth. But lurking beneath that solace was a chilling dread that clawed at my insides. 10:49 to 11:45. Ethan, I finally uttered, my voice trembling with an unspoken tension. Your support means everything to me. I grasped, as his voice trembled with a newfound softness, laden with unspoken weight. In the midst of chaos, a murmur of hope emerged. Everything will be all right. Just take a deep breath. Amelia. The weight of uncertainty hung heavy in the air, but the promise of solace lingered, urging her to find strength in the shadows. His words echoed through the silence, each syllable heavy with a gravity that pierced the very fabric of understanding. With every heartbeat, his presence loomed closer, a tantalizing warmth that ignited the air, reminiscent of a flickering flame poised to consume everything in its path. Ethan's hands, like murmur of silk, traced a path down my back, igniting a tension that hung thick in the air. With each gentle light touch, a wave of tension began to dissolve, but lurking beneath the surface, an unsettling restlessness stirred, threatening to unravel the calm. His warmth enveloped me like a heavy fog, slowly seeping into my very being, yet it remained steadfast, an unyielding force that refused to let go. In that fleeting moment, my thoughts plunged into a shadowy abyss, and a silent battle ignited deep within my soul. 1146 to 1440. Amelia, I implored, my voice trembling as I struggled to grasp the elusive calm that danced just beyond my fingertips. As his gentle hands descended, inching closer to my shoulders, a surge of anticipation coursed through me, quickening my heart with an intoxicating blend of warmth and uncertainty. On one side loomed the reassuring figure of Ethan, a beacon in the encroaching darkness, while on the other, the relentless threads of time twisted and tightened, creating an unyielding chasm between them. In that fleeting moment, a voice, gentle yet imbued with an undeniable power, echoed within me, compelling me to listen intently, as if the very fabric of fate hung in the balance. Amelia, the arrival of your second young friend looms like a shadow, and perhaps now is the moment to reevaluate your role in this unfolding drama. The fireplace flickered ominously, its glow casting eerie shadows that danced across the room. What once felt like a comforting comfort now morphed into an oppressive heat, suffocating and relentless as the minutes dragged on, leaving an unsettling tension in the air. As I observed Ethan, his hand moving slowly to wipe the sweat from his brow, an irresistible pull drew my eyes toward him, igniting a tension that hung thick in the air. In that fleeting moment, the fabric of his clothing fluttered, unveiling the sculpted lines of his sun-gentle closeness skin, bathed in the flickering glow of the fire, evoking the essence of a masterpiece lost to time. In that fleeting instant, a tempest of emotions surged within me, a whirlwind so profound that words seemed utterly inadequate to capture its essence. Years had slipped away like shadows, leaving behind a haunting void, until now, a spark ignited, a connection so profound it sent shivers down my spine. The heat bore down like a relentless beast, and Ethan, feeling the oppressive weight of it, took a cautious step back, his hand trembling as he reached for the window, desperate for a breath of fresh air. Allow me to guide you into a realm of ease and tranquility, where your discomfort fades into the shadows. His tone danced with a deceptive lightness, but the intensity in his gaze ensnared me, leaving me silent and on the edge of my seat. In that fleeting moment, our gazes locked, a silent storm brewing between us. Amelia, you are radiating warmth, he said, his voice a soft murmur that held an undercurrent of intensity. A change looms on the horizon, beckoning with an allure that cannot be ignored. It would be my utmost pleasure to lend my assistance in this matter. It was as if my words were ensnared in a web of silence, desperately struggling to break free, yet trapped in a suffocating darkness that threatened to swallow them whole. I wrestled with the urge to retreat, but the suffocating warmth wrapped around me like a shroud, and the very air crackled with an intensity that was impossible to ignore. With a cautious breath, I discovered my position, surrendering to the weight of the moment that hung in the air. Thick with anticipation, Ethan knelt beside me, his fingers grazing the fabric of my clothing, igniting a spark of tension that hung thick in the air, a silent question lingering between us. His warm hands grazed my skin, igniting a spark that crackled in the charged atmosphere, leaving an electric tension that hung heavily between us. The touch ignited a shiver that coursed through my very being, not from the chill of the unknown, but from an unexpected warmth that enveloped me. A comfort that murmurs secrets of safety in the shadows. As I slipped into the soft comfort of the sweater, a wave of gratitude washed over me for Ethan's unwavering patience and steadfast support. I set it aside with deliberate care, the air thick with unspoken tension, each moment stretching into eternity. In that moment, the air around us grew heavy, charged with a palpable tension, that murmur of secrets yet to be revealed. In that fleeting instant, his eyes locked onto mine, a charged silence enveloping us, before he abruptly tore his gaze away, leaving an electric tension hanging in the air. Even so, I could feel the tempest those glances ignited within me, a storm brewing in the depths of my soul, without ever needing to lay eyes on his face. 1441 to 1535. Amelia, Ethan murmur, his voice now enveloped in a profound, tender resonance that sent shivers down her spine. Do you sense a flicker of calmness beginning to wash over you? Less than text, I believe so, I responded, my voice quaking with a mix of fear and anticipation. The words I uttered were but a fragile mask, barely hiding the tempest that surged violently within my soul. It wasn't just the heat, it was the intoxicating warmth, emanating from Ethan's very being, enveloping me in a cocoon of undeniable intensity. Come, Ethan murmur, his voice a haunting echo in the stillness, as he extended his hand, an invitation laced with unspoken tension. What if we were to shift our scene to the sofa, where secrets linger and tension thickens in the air? A palpable tension hangs in the air. Murmur that this space is not meant for you, that something is amiss, lurking just beyond the shadows. With a trembling heart, I reached out and grasped his hand, the weight of the moment hanging heavy in the air. The moment our fingers grazed, an electric jolt surged through me, awakening a long dormant fire, a feeling I thought was lost forever. As he cautiously helped me to my feet, his unwavering grip enveloped me, a lifeline in the swirling chaos around us. 1535 to 1713. In that fleeting moment, a primal force surged within Ethan, igniting an instinct to protect that was both fierce and undeniable, revealing the very essence of his being. It was as if the shadows of my deepest fears began to evaporate, leaving behind an unsettling silence that hung in the air, thick with anticipation. As we approached the sofa, his hand, warm yet commanding, urged me to take a seat, the air thick with unspoken tension. He slid into position beside me, a shadow of tension lingering in the air, yet he was meticulous in maintaining a deliberate distance, as if the space itself held secrets waiting to unravel. Yet the tension in the room hung thick in the air, an unyielding presence that refused to dissipate. An unspoken understanding hung in the air, thick with tension, a complexity so deep it seemed to pulse with a life of its own, begging to be revealed yet remaining tantalizingly out of reach. As our eyes locked, an electric tension surged between us, a tempest of emotions battling for dominance in the abyss of his gaze. Yet, as the shadows lengthened and the air thickened with unspoken words, it was undeniable that the weight of our emotions bore down upon us. Particularly heavy tonight, as we sank into our seats. An eerie silence wrapped around us, broken only by the ominous crackle of the fire, each pop echoing like a heartbeat in the stillness. My heart thundered in my chest, a pulse so fierce it seemed to shatter the stillness around me. Ethan, perched beside me, wielded an uncanny power over my thoughts and emotions, his very breath weaving a spell that sent shivers down my spine. The air crackled with tension as he drew near, igniting a whirlwind of nerves deep within me. Yet, amidst the chaos, an unsettling calm washed over me, wrapping me in its eerie comfort. In that fleeting moment, our gazes collided, igniting a silent connection that hung heavily in the air, charged with unspoken tension. His gaze held an unsettling depth, a tantalizing mix of curiosity and an unspoken intensity that hung in the air, weaving an invisible thread between us, thick with uncharted possibilities. In that charged moment, his gaze pierced through the air, an undeniable force that was both profound and intense, yet cloaked in a tender softness that sent shivers down the spine. As the clock struck 1713, a palpable tension filled the air, thick with anticipation. Every second that passed felt like an eternity, each tick echoing ominously in the silence. The shadows lengthened, creeping closer as the minutes slipped away, drawing nearer to the fateful moment at 1750. What would unfold in that fleeting moment? It felt as if the very fabric of time had come to a standstill. Ethan's hand extended slowly, a silent plea that defied the tension crackling in the air between us. As his fingers grazed my own, an electrifying shiver surged through my body, igniting a tension that hung thick in the air. In the heavy stillness, the unspoken truths loomed large, each heartbeat echoing the weight of what remained unsaid. His gaze lingered on my face for just a moment, and in that instant, the air thickened, the world around us faded, and everything shifted into a tense silence, charged with unspoken possibilities. He leaned in slowly, the air thick with anticipation, as if every heartbeat held the weight of the world between us. His presence loomed so close that I could sense the heat of his breath brushing against my skin, igniting a shiver of anticipation that coursed through me. The storm within has finally stilled, but the echoes of chaos linger in the shadows, waiting for the moment to rise again. A shroud of neutrality cloaked the world, casting an eerie stillness over all that existed. As the clock ticks ominously from 1750 to 1905, the air thickens with anticipation, each passing minute steeped in an unsettling tension that grips the heart. What secrets lie in the shadows of this fleeting time? The countdown has begun, and with it, the promise of revelation looms ever closer, igniting a fire. In that fleeting instant, the world around them faded, leaving only the intense heat of Ethan's gaze and the magnetic pull of his closeness. A sanctuary amidst the chaos. With a heart racing and breath caught in my throat, I slowly closed my eyes, leaning in ever so slightly closer to him, as if the very air between us crackled with unspoken tension. As our eyes locked, an electric tension filled the air, a profound understanding hanging between us like a fragile thread, ready to snap at any moment. Not of bond, but of a haunting connection forged in the depths of shared suffering. In the shadowy depths of our existence, two souls converge, each bearing the weight of unspoken struggles. We stand together, ensnared in a moment that feels both eternal and fleeting. Our comfort a fragile sanctuary amidst the chaos that surrounds us. The first touch was a murmur of warmth, a delicate brush that ignited a spark of intrigue, leaving a lingering question in the air, heavy with anticipation. Yet, in the blink of an eye, that gentleness transformed into a force so deep and profound, it sent shivers down the spine, leaving an unsettling tension hanging in the air. His warmth enveloped me like a shroud, his breath a tantalizing murmur that sent shivers down my spine. The sensation of his face against mine was electric, a fleeting moment that seemed to stretch into eternity, pulling us away from the chaos of the world, leaving only the two of us in a suspended reality filled with unspoken tension. The solitude enveloped me like a thick fog, while the deep-seated fears and yearnings roiled within, intertwining with his presence in a way that sent shivers down my spine. In that fleeting instant, it was as if the world around them faded away, and the gentle closeness became a tempest of emotions, a silent promise hanging in the air, charged with unspoken feelings and the weight of uncharted possibilities. In that moment, the air thickened with unexpressed feelings, a tempest of unvoiced yearnings swirling around them. What if this was the spark that ignited a connection, one that had stealthily simmered just beneath the surface, waiting for the right moment to erupt? As the gentle closeness deepened, a surge of electricity coursed through the air. His hand's light touched my cheeks with a touch that felt both tender and perilous, igniting a fire within that threatened to consume us both. 1906 to 1955. My hands trembled as they cautiously navigated to his shoulders, a silent tension crackling in the air between us. The warmth of his skin surged into my hands, igniting an electric connection that pulsed with unspoken tension between us. In the end, we stood at the precipice of fate, our paths diverging yet intertwined, as we reluctantly embraced the shadows of separation. As our gazes locked in a silent battle, the cadence of our breaths diverged, yet the bond we forged crackled with an intensity that could not be ignored. A thought lingered in the shadows of my mind, haunting and inescapable, its presence both unsettling and undeniable. This evening, the very fabric of our connections will tremble, poised on the brink of a profound transformation. In the moments that followed the gentle closeness, I gasped, My heart racing as a tempest of emotions surged within me, each one more intense than the last. My heart pounded violently, threatening to explode from the confines of my chest. As I peered into the depths of Ethan's eyes, an unsettling question loomed, shrouded in an intense longing that sent shivers down my spine. As the clock ticks ominously towards the hour, the atmosphere thickens with anticipation. The minutes stretch, each one laden with unspoken tension, as the world holds its breath in the shadow of the impending moment. What lies ahead in this fleeting window of time? The stage is set, and the stakes have never been higher. In that moment, an eerie silence descended upon my mind, wrapping it in an unsettling comfort. In a tumultuous dance of fate, my heart and body have seized control, steering my every choice into the unknown. Indeed, I murmur, my voice trembling with an intensity that left no room for doubt about the storm of emotions raging within me. My emotions for you are a tempest, swirling and fierce, and I yearn with every fiber of my being for your joy, even if it means standing in the shadows of your heart. As I spoke, an unsettling sensation coursed through me, as if a fragment of my very soul had fractured and splintered into oblivion. In a fleeting moment of clarity, the suffocating weight of loneliness and the haunting fears I had clung to for what felt like an eternity began to unravel, leaving me teetering on the edge of revelation. As the clock struck 20:30, an unsettling tension filled the air, thickening with each passing moment. The seconds dragged on, stretching into an eternity until 2052 loomed ominously on the horizon, a harbinger of what was to come. What secrets lay hidden in those fleeting minutes? The anticipation was palpable, a storm. In that fleeting instant, the air crackled with an unspoken bond, a connection so profound it felt as if time itself held its breath. We were suspended in a moment that was destined, a tapestry woven with threads of fate, where nothing else existed but the intensity of our shared presence. Ethan's expression flickered, a spark of surprise igniting in his eyes, before a slow, enigmatic smile began to creep across his face, hinting at secrets yet to be unveiled. The look in his eyes held a flicker of something deeper, a warmth that wrapped around me like a shroud, leaving me silent and longing for more. 20:53 to 21:09. I love you too, Amelia, he murmured, his voice a soft light touch that wrapped around her like a fragile promise. Teetering on the edge of vulnerability, the weight of my restraint grows heavier with each passing moment, and the struggle to maintain my composure becomes a battle I can no longer endure. My emotions for you are a tempest, swirling and fierce, and I yearn with every fiber of my being to entwine our lives together in a bond that defies the very fabric of fate. As the clock struck 21:10, a palpable tension filled the air, thick with anticipation. Every second that ticked by felt like an eternity, leading up to the moment that would change everything. The shadows danced ominously as the hands of time inched closer to 22:07. Each minute a countdown to the unknown. What awaited in? His words enveloped me, a tidal wave of emotion, both tender and hauntingly deep. Each word struck a chord deep within my soul, echoing with an intensity that left me silent. Ethan's hands enveloped my face with a gentle yet electrifying touch, drawing nearer, as if the very air between us crackled with unspoken tension. This time, an unsettling certainty loomed in the air, thick and palpable, as if the very fabric of fate was holding its breath. In the shadows of our hearts, we both sensed the weight of our feelings, a haunting awareness that lingered, profound and charged with significance. As his face brushed against mine once more, an electric tension crackled in the air, the weight of our unspoken emotions hanging like a storm cloud, ready to unleash its fury. In that fleeting moment, the world around us faded, and the intensity of our connection surged, defying the very boundaries of language itself. This moment heralded a profound turning point in my journey, one that would forever alter the course of my fate. Ethan's presence envelops the room in a soothing warmth, while his words echo with an intensity that stirs the very depths of the soul. In the depths of my turmoil, amidst the swirling shadows of doubt, I found myself standing at the precipice, grappling with an unexpected hesitation that gripped my very core. I had not stopped a single thing. The tide of my emotions swept over me, pulling me into its depths, where every wave threatened to drown me in its intensity. As we huddled beside the flickering flames, the warmth of our blankets cocooned us in a fragile sanctuary. The silence enveloped us, heavy in charge, murmur secrets that danced just beyond the reach of our face. As the clock struck 22:07, an unsettling silence enveloped the room, thick with anticipation. Each second dragged on, stretching the tension to its breaking point. Then, at 22:25, a sudden shift in the atmosphere sent shivers down spines, leaving everyone on edge, hearts racing, as they braced for the unknown that. As I lay there, silent and ensnared in the moment, Ethan's presence beside me sent shivers down my spine. His gentle smile, a haunting enigma, lingered in the air, thick with unspoken tension. As I stared up at the ceiling, shadows danced in the corners, murmur secrets of our past, remnants of a time that felt both haunting and alive. Our clothing and clothes lay scattered across the floor, a silent witness to the fleeting moments we once cherished, now hanging in the air like a haunting echo of what was. As the clock ticks ominously, the shadows deepen, and the air thickens with tension. Every second stretches into eternity, holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable. What lies ahead is shrouded in uncertainty, and the heart races, caught in the grip of suspense. The moment approaches, and with it, the promise of revelation or ruin. The night cloaked me in a shroud of uncertainty. Each shadow murmurs secrets that danced just beyond my grasp, blurring the line between reality and the haunting allure of dreams. Ethan turned to me, his captivating smile hanging in the air like a haunting echo, a delicate reminder of the warmth we once shared, now shrouded in uncertainty. His hand brushed against my cheek with a tenderness that sent shivers down my spine, his thumb hovering tantalizingly over my face, as if time itself had paused in that electrifying moment. 22:45 to 24:22. Less than, Amelia, greater than, he murmured, his voice a soothing balm in the tense silence, wrapping around her like a cloak of warmth and comfort. The weight of his words hung in the air, charged with unspoken tension, as if the very fabric of their reality was about to unravel. Nothing could ever compare to this moment, a fleeting treasure I would guard with my very soul. Beyond the horizon, an ominous presence looms, murmur secrets of what lies ahead. Greater than, an echo that reverberates through the shadows, beckoning the brave and the curious to uncover the truth hidden in the depths of uncertainty. I drew closer, my heart pounding with the weight of unspoken feelings, and my voice trembled with a deep, fervent gratitude that hung in the air like a fragile thread, ready to snap at any moment. In the shadows of uncertainty, a murmur emerges. Less than, I appreciate you, Ethan. The weight of those words hangs in the air, charged with unspoken tension and a depth that could unravel the very fabric of their connection. Greater than. It had been an eternity since I had felt the chilling grip of solitude wrap around me, a haunting reminder of the depths of isolation. Yet there you stood, a beacon of youthful allure and captivating essence, far surpassing anything I had ever known. I was ensnared, unprepared for the overwhelming surge of sincerity and gratitude that suddenly ignited within me, illuminating my gaze with an intensity I could not conceal. Ethan's face curled ever so slightly, a smile emerging that seemed to hold secrets untold, a warmth that beckoned yet hinted at something deeper lurking beneath the surface. Less than, Amelia, your beauty radiates with an intensity that captivates the very soul. Beyond the horizon, a force looms, greater than anything imagined, greater than the very fabric of reality itself. Draina, he murmured, his voice laced with an intensity that sent shivers down my spine. And in that moment, I realized he was alluding to something far deeper than mere appearances. In your presence, an extraordinary warmth envelops me, igniting a connection that pulses with intensity and depth, leaving me silent and longing for more. In the shadows of uncertainty, your kindness emerges like a beacon, illuminating the darkest corners of my soul. Your genuine nature wraps around me like a warm comfort, offering solace in a world fraught with chaos. It compels me to confront the depths of my being, urging me to accept and comfort the essence of who I truly am. There was an undeniable allure about him, a magnetic pull in the way he spoke, the warmth of his touch igniting a fire within me that refused to be extinguished. The experience enveloped me in a depth so profound, so hauntingly beautiful, that I yearned to clutch it tightly within my heart, desperate to preserve its essence for eternity. Less than, I was desperate for you, Ethan. Greater than, I declared, my voice trembling with an intensity that pierced the silence. In the shadows of uncertainty, beneath the weight of unspoken words, you stand before me, a flicker of hope in the darkness. 24, 23, 26-19. In that moment, as the shadows danced around me, I realized that nothing could have prepared me for the overwhelming surge of feelings that coursed through my veins. It was as if the universe had conspired to grant me a wish so profound, so intoxicating, that I stood on the precipice of something extraordinary. I couldn't have wished for anything more. Yet the weight of that longing threatened to consume me whole. Beyond the horizon, a murmur of something more lingers, an echo of possibilities yet to unfold. Ethan's smile was a fragile beacon in the dim light, his fingers gliding over the sheets with a tenderness that hinted at an unspoken tension. A fleeting moment that held the weight of uncharted emotions. With a sense of urgency, I declare my intention to frequent this place. Amelia, and I shall begin at once. Greater than, he murmured, his voice a haunting echo that lingered in the air, a promise wrapped in shadows. Whenever you need me, I'll be here. The weight of his words hung heavy, a beacon of unwavering support amidst the encroaching darkness. Nothing compares, nothing at all, to the sheer thrill of being near you, to savor these ephemeral moments that slip through our fingers like sand. Beyond the horizon, a force looms, greater than anything ever witnessed. The air thickens with anticipation, as shadows stretch and murmur secrets of what lies ahead. A moment hangs in the balance, teetering on the edge of the unknown, waiting to unleash its power. In that fleeting moment, an unsettling shift coursed through the air, murmur of a new chapter poised to erupt in the shadows of my life. The shadows of the past, heavy and suffocating, began to lift, revealing a glimmer of hope that danced just beyond reach. With Ethan by my side, an overwhelming wave of trust washed over me, intertwining with an unsettling tranquility that murmur of secrets yet to be unveiled. With a heavy heart, I slowly closed my eyes, drawing in a breath that trembled with anticipation. As I edged closer to the intoxicating warmth that enveloped him, a beacon in the encroaching darkness, this night heralded the dawn of an unforeseen chapter in my life. The first steps of an unfolding journey loomed before me, and the profound realization that I was no longer alone gripped my heart with an intensity that was beyond measure. I fervently wish that my tale struck a chord within you, igniting a spark of connection that lingers in the shadows of your thoughts. This journey has unfolded into an extraordinary saga, filled with twists and turns that ignite a thrill within me. The joy of sharing this tale with you is palpable, as the shadows of uncertainty loom and the promise of revelation beckons us closer. Should you dare to delve deeper into tales that twist and turn, consider subscribing to remain entwined in the web of intrigue. Activate those notifications, and you will stand on the precipice of anticipation, ready to be among the first to uncover the thrilling moment a new episode emerges from the shadows. Your unwavering support, manifested in likes and comments, sends shivers down my spine and stirs the depths of my heart. Your thoughts and feelings echo within me, igniting a fire that fuels my own tumultuous journey. Your unwavering support ignites a fire within me, urging me to unleash the depths of my soul with unrestrained fervor. Thank you immensely, and I eagerly await the moment when we unveil the next chapter together.